Oh, what's up, GameLeapers who average 5 CS per min? Coach Eags is back. The Jizz is on break, unfortunately. And in today's video, I'm going into full coach mode and we'll be teaching each and every one of you how to average 12 CS per minute. Now, this isn't a joke. You are 100% going to learn how to do it, the huge tips and tricks you have to apply. And that's right, we're not talking 10 CS per minute or something respectable like 7 CS per minute. We are talking 12 big ones. Now, we are going to be watching gameplay of Chovy, who is considered one of the best, if not the best laner in the world. And let me just say that it doesn't matter if you're playing mid lane, bot lane, a range champion, a melee champion, River Shen. Okay, it does matter if you're playing River Shen. For whatever lane or champion you're playing, you can go out and achieve this. Now, before we get into these must-know tips, if you want all the tips in the world, and I really want to make a joke about Lana Rhodes or those particular type of stars, but I won't, then you have to check out our website, GameLeap.com, which is where all of our challenger coaches and players upload fresh daily content so that you can become one of us. Up to 20 exclusive videos a week for our members, so stop watching that latest anime and start watching our content. Links in the description and comment section. Alright, so let's get into it, guys, and the first tip I want to give you, I want to tell you this right now. The reason melee champions find it easier to CS than range champions is because they are closer to the CS, which seems obvious, of course, I'm sure we've all noticed this, but the reason this is important is because their auto attacks, their last hitting, is more immediate, it's more in real time. With range champions, the further away you stand from the minion you're CSing, the more delayed your auto attack actually is. So in other words, you have to time it close to perfection sometimes, especially if you have a bunch of minions that are attacking just one enemy minion. So the first tip I want to give you guys here is you can see Chovy auto-attacking these minions is to stand close to them. Even on melee champions, sometimes you might miss some because you might have to run through your creep wave, but with range champions in particular, stand close to the minions, guys, so you can attack them in real time and last hit to perfection. Now, the next tip I'm about to give you guys is all about your CSing mechanics, and this is going to help you so much. You have to understand that the minions, yes, they have some RNG involved, so they can quickly switch targets, but most of the time, 90% of the time at least, they are going to keep auto-attacking the same target. So if one enemy minion is getting auto-attacked by your own minions at the same rate, you know that when its health bar is decreasing, this is going to be consistent, so your timing can be close to perfect. So the key to really anticipating when to auto-attack, because you do have to have a bit of foresight, well, this is how. You have to look at your minions' auto-attacks, guys, and see which minions of the enemy creep wave your minions are attacking. Now, this is also key when you're trying to CS under your tower. You have to anticipate the damage your tower is going to do to the enemy minions, and then last hit accordingly. Now, I just want to make a quick point about tempo here, guys, because honestly, this is the biggest difference maker. Like, this is why challenger players are challenger players, and why everyone else isn't challenger. So when you have TP, if you're playing mid or top lane, you might even be playing ADC. When you get a kill on your lane, or even if you die in the early laning phase, especially before level 6, TP back to your lane. Not only do you keep up or extend your experience lead against your opponent, but you're also going to minimize your losses in the CS department. So let's say that Chovy could somehow sustain through this Diana damage and he actually didn't recall here. If he stays, Lee Sin, who he just killed, is going to actually have an item advantage, and Chovy, because he doesn't have a health potion or any sustain at that point, okay, he has his Q, but it's minimal. Compared to Lee Sin, he's actually behind in terms of items. So if they do fight, Lee Sin is going to win out, and for the next 2 or 3 waves, Chovy is going to find it very difficult to actually play the lane, and his early kill has kind of gone to waste. He hasn't actually used it yet. So when you get a kill, you get 300 gold, of course, but that 300 gold isn't worth anything until you actually spend it. Now, in terms of CSing technique, guys, I want to talk about what Chovy does here to this big cannon wave in front of him. Most people are going to probably Q these first couple of melee minions. They might hit the cannon minion as well. You know what Chovy does with his AoE ability? This is something all of you have to do if you're playing a champion with some sort of AoE, is you hit all the minions. Watch Chovy how he eases through this minion wave and then Qs each of these minions. So he's not hitting just 1 or 2 or 3, he's hitting every single one of them, so he gets the wave in quicker. It's also easier for him to CS because all of these minions are very close to being last hittable, and the quicker you clear these waves, the more efficiently you do this, the wave is actually going to bounce back to the middle of the lane. And as you can see here in the mid lane, it's almost like it's level 1, where the minions actually are. This is so important because if you don't shove it quick enough, you will have to play the lane further towards the enemy tower, which leaves you vulnerable to ganks, of course. So clearing waves efficiently is another way you can get 12 CS per minute and keep yourself safe at the same time, because obviously we can't CS if we're dead. Now, I also want to just give you this tip, guys, and this is actually a mistake lots of people make. So lots of players in lower elos, when they use their abilities on the wave, and I'm not saying that using your abilities on the wave is a bad thing, but you have to understand that if you do use your Q, your W, or your E to CS, you don't have this for the 1v1. Now, in this situation, we can see that Chovy is level 6 compared to Lee Sin's level 4, so if they do fight, Chovy will still win, of course. But because he doesn't have his Q here, it's not really worth taking a trade, because you might actually end up losing that trade. So when you do use an ability to get the CS, guys, because, you know, there might be no other way for you to get the CS, just back up, because there's no real reason to take a risky fight when you are a cooldown down. And this next wave could be the perfect example of this, guys, because Chovy is sitting on gold. As we can see here, he's now sitting on 914 gold, so he can buy a couple of items. And he wants to get this wave in ASAP, so using his abilities like he does here, his Q and then his E to get this last minion. But he doesn't really want to fight Lee Sin all that much at this point because his Q is on cooldown and his E will be on cooldown as well. Now, the reason he stays here, this is another very important point. If the enemy champion doesn't let your minions crash into their tower, what is this going to do? This is most likely going to freeze the lane, and this is really, really bad for you because you have to play the lane again, further up and closer to the enemy tower and further away from your own. This makes it very risky to stay in lane, so what you have to do in these situations is push up and get your minions under the enemy tower at all costs. Now, I would even say in some cases, even if you died but you managed to get the wave in, that might even be worth, because freezes can be so devastating. So that's how important it is. So in your games, never ever let the minion wave just sit on the enemy side of the lane, guys. You have to hard push it out. But just remember to be careful if you do use your abilities on the wave, because you won't have those cooldowns for the enemy champion. Now, if you're enjoying these type of videos, guys, I want you to leave a like down below. And also make sure you hit that sub button so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. And this next tip is going to help you so much as well. Now, when people in lower elo roam, they will roam when minions are already in their lane, or the enemy champion is about to crash the wave into their tower, right? So when they do go to move on the map, they miss golden experience in their lane, and this is vital. When Chovy moves here, yes, the minion waves are kind of close to colliding in the mid lane, but they're not close enough, so he actually has a lot of time here to move on the map and make something happen without giving up too much golden experience in his own lane. So whenever you hard push a wave, guys, or the wave is resetting and you have a few seconds of free time, this is when you look to roam. Do not go to roam when there is golden experience in your lane. And when Chovy gets back to the mid lane here, yes, he may have missed a wave, but so is Lee Sin, because Lee Sin tried to match Chovy's roam. So in the bigger picture, guys, the cost of him going to roam is actually pretty minimal. It's only 100 gold or so, and same idea again here, he hard shoves the wave, so then he goes to ward as well. And I'd even put warding, where you're not doing so in your lane or close to your lane, in the roaming category as well. So when you're going to ward the enemy jungler's raptors, or if you're going to ward the Tribrush in the top lane or bot lane, or if you're warding dragon in the bot lane, go to roam when there is no minion wave in your lane. I cannot stress how important this is, and I've seen it so many times by players I've coached. They go to roam and give up golden experience, and they come back to mid lane 2 levels down and wonder why. And as you can see, Chovy makes it back to the mid lane, so he gets another wave, and look at the CS for me. He has 91 at just under 9 minutes. That's close to perfect CS. He's missed a couple, but the little tips and tricks we've talked about, if this is why he has 91 at just before 9 minutes, and you can do exactly the same if you apply these tips. Compare it to Lee Sin, 35 CS down. And can you guys believe it? Chovy goes to place another ward. What's he missing in the mid lane? Nothing. He's got a good 10 seconds here to go to ward somewhere, to make a play somewhere, and guess what he's giving up? Absolutely nothing, guys. But in lower elos, people will roam when there's gold there. When the enemy champion is hitting their tower, they give up gold for free, essentially. Never ever do it. Go to roam when there's nothing in your lane. Now, it's also very important, guys, to CS as well as this, to time your recalls effectively. So recalling, what are we doing when we're recalling? Well, of course, we're buying items. So Chovy here, when you look at the CS, he's got a ridiculous 116 in like 10 minutes. He's got 1600 gold here, which is enough to buy a gore drinker. So he wants to recall. Now, before you recall, you have to make sure that you shove the minion wave out. It's the same idea, right? When you go to roam on the map, it's the same principle, because when you recall, you're actually not spending time in your lane, of course, so we don't want to miss that much when we actually leave it. This is why when Chovy recalls, you can see there's no minion wave in his lane. He's not missing any golden experience, and because he has his TP up, this then allows him to make a play top lane and not actually miss that much in the mid lane, if anything. Now, I want to give you guys another tip here, and again, if you want to check out the GameLeap website, if you want unlimited learning resources for League of Legends, our website is allyouneedgameleap.com. So make sure you head on over there, links down below. Now, this tip right here, again, is going to help you so much in the CSing department, because lots of people, when they go to another lane, you might even be a jungler here, are so scared to take their teammate's CS. Even if this isn't your lane, guys, let's say you've TP'd there, or you've roamed there, you've ganked there, whatever it is, this mantra I'm about to give you, I want you to get it tattooed on your arm or put on your wall somewhere, frame it. Selfish League is winning League. If you take CS for yourself, if you take jungle camps for yourself, it is a proven, consistent winning formula to League of Legends. If you don't stay here and push the wave out, look at Akali. She's having a roam around the map, so if she doesn't get the CS, no one is. So not only is this great for you, yourself, but also for your team, because if we think about the map, your team isn't actually losing any gold here. So never ever be afraid of taking your laner's CS if they are not in the lane. If they are in the lane, then yes, this is called taxing, but if they're not, it's free golden experience, so take it. Do not let it go to waste. Now, when the game opens up, guys, how many of you have seen ARAM start at like 10 minutes? You might even be in Diamond, you might even be in Master, you might be Gold, Silver, Bronze. In fact, I know it happens for a fact in lower elos. When the first tier turrets start to go down, so you can see on this screen right now in the minimap, the mid turret has gone down. The bottom enemy tier turret has gone down as well. This means that the game is going to open up and your bot lane should really rotate to either top or mid lane. But the key to keeping your CS up and not turning it into an ARAM fiesta like they do in low elo is to go to the free lane. Whatever lane your teammates aren't in, you go towards. That is golden experience that not only you might miss, but your team as well. So again, not only are we being self-sufficient, but we're also being efficient for the team. But it's one thing to go to the free lane, guys, but it's another thing to get even more out of these lanes, which is exactly what Chovy is trying to do here. Yes, getting minion waves is important, but what else actually impacts our CS? Well, jungle camps. These count as 4 CS and they give you golden experience as well. So if there is no minion wave in your lane and you have easy access to an enemy camp or your own camps like Gromp or whatever it is, then try to take them, but only after you have shoved the minion wave in your lane, because minion waves gives way more XP than jungle camps do. So as you can see here in the top lane, Chovy has shoved this out, so it's under the enemy team's tower. So if he does try to take a jungle camp like these Crocs, for example, he's not giving anything up in his lane. And you can see now how a bunch of kills happen on the map and Chovy goes to roam. Even when he's running back to lane right here, he is taking Gromp. He is taking a jungle camp while he's moving to that lane. And everything we've talked about, guys, this is why he's going to have 176 CS at around 16 minutes in this game. And of course, he's going to expand on that in the next few minutes. This is how you can do it. So go ahead in your games, apply these tips. It doesn't matter if you're on a range champion, a melee champion. Hopefully in this video, I've given you the ingredients you need to make that 12 CS per minute cake. Not sure if that was the best analogy, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Coach Cheese, and until tomorrow's video, bye.